Most people think cargo is simple. A ship arrives, a container is unloaded, a truck picks it up, and the goods move to a warehouse. That is the picture most of us have in our mind. But in the real world, cargo often does something strange. It waits. It waits at sea, it waits outside ports, it waits inside terminals, it waits on trucks, it waits for paperwork, it waits for money, and sometimes it waits even when everyone wants it to move. For a business owner, this is confusing. The goods have already been produced, the ship has already arrived, the buyer is ready, the seller is waiting for payment. So why does the cargo not simply move? And then the first strange thing appears. The cargo is not just waiting because someone is slow. It may be waiting because the system is designed to charge money when it waits. Behind one container there are shipping lines, ports, customs officers, banks, truckers, warehouses, and insurance companies. And sometimes, the cheapest decision for one player creates an expensive delay for everyone else. But that is not even the strangest part. Level 1, the container is not just a box. At the first level, cargo looks physical. A metal box supports a ship, a crane. But economically, a container is not just a box. It is a moving piece of capital. A shipping line owns or controls that container. Every day it sits still, it is not earning money on another trip. This is why shipping companies care deeply about container movement. A container is supposed to move in a cycle. It gets filled by an exporter, it moves to a port, it travels by ship, it arrives at another port, it is picked up by an importer, then it is emptied and returned. That sounds simple. But if one importer delays returning the empty container, that same container cannot be used by another exporter. So the delay of one box can affect the next shipment, the next customer, and sometimes the next country waiting for equipment. This is where the hidden clock begins. Shipping companies often give free time, a limited number of days before charges begin. Demurrage is usually linked to cargo staying too long inside the terminal, while detention is linked to containers staying too long outside the terminal. And once that clock starts, waiting becomes expensive. But who actually pays for that waiting? Level 2, the port becomes a parking lot. At the second level, the port becomes more than a place where ships stop. It becomes a parking lot for global trade. A port has limited space. Every container sitting in the yard takes up room. Every extra day makes it harder to unload the next ship. If too many containers stay too long, the port slows down. This creates a strange problem. The cargo that has already arrived can block the cargo that is still coming. A port does not only need cranes, it needs flow. Containers must come in, move through, and leave. If they do not leave fast enough, the entire system becomes crowded. This is why ports and shipping lines use fees. On paper, the fees are meant to encourage people to pick up cargo quickly and return containers on time. In practice, these fees can become a major cost for importers, especially when the delay is not fully under their control. Sometimes customs is slow, sometimes trucks are unavailable, sometimes a warehouse is full, sometimes documents are missing. But the container still sits there. And the clock still runs. So the port is not simply storing cargo. It is measuring time, converting delay into money, and pushing pressure onto the next player. And that leads to a more uncomfortable question. What happens when the delay is caused by the system itself? Level 3, paperwork can stop physical cargo. At the third level, the cargo may be ready to move physically. But legally it cannot move. This is where paperwork becomes more powerful than cranes. A container can be sitting in the port, the truck can be available, the buyer can be waiting, but if one document is missing, the cargo may not be released. This can include customs forms, bills of lading, invoices, certificates, inspections, or payment confirmations. The strange part is that cargo does not wait only for machines. It waits for permission. In global trade, ownership and control are not always obvious. A container may be physically in one country, sold by a company in another country, financed by a bank in a third country, and transported by a shipping line based somewhere else. Each player wants protection. The seller wants payment, the buyer wants the goods, the bank wants documents, customs wants compliance, the shipping line wants its container back. So the system creates checkpoints. And every checkpoint reduces risk for one player while creating delay for another. This is why cargo can sit still even when nobody wants it to sit still. The goods are not trapped by distance. They are trapped by coordination. And once coordination fails, the cost does not disappear. It gets assigned to someone. But the next level is where the economics becomes even stranger. Level 4, waiting can become a business model. At the fourth level, waiting stops looking like an accident. It starts looking like a business model. Demurrage and detention charges are officially designed to keep cargo moving. If containers were allowed to sit forever for free, ports would fill up quickly and shipping lines would lose equipment. So the logic makes sense. Charge for delay and people will move faster. But the problem is that not every delay can be controlled by the importer. If a port is congested, the importer may not be able to pick up the container. If there are not enough truck appointments, the container may remain stuck. If customs takes longer than expected, the cargo cannot be released. Yet the charges may still grow. In some markets, free time may only be a few days, and after that, daily charges can begin. Industry explanations commonly describe free time windows of only several days before fees apply. This creates a quiet unfairness. The person paying the fee may not be the person who caused the delay. And because the cargo is valuable, the importer often has no choice. They pay first, argue later. At this point, waiting cargo becomes more than a logistics issue. It becomes a transfer of money. But the system still has another layer. Because sometimes, waiting is not caused by cargo at all. It is caused by ships. Level 5, ships wait because ports cannot breathe. At the fifth level, the waiting moves from land to sea. A container ship may reach the coast but still not enter the port. From a distance, this looks strange. The ship has arrived, the destination is visible, the cargo is close. But it still waits. Why? Because ports have limits. A port can only handle so many ships, cranes, containers, trucks, and workers at one time. If ships arrive faster than the port can process them, a queue forms. This queue is not like a normal line at a shop. It is a line made of ships worth millions of dollars, carrying cargo worth hundreds of millions more. Every hour matters. Fuel is consumed, crew time continues, schedules break, containers arrive late, trucks and warehouses must adjust. And when many ships wait, the delay spreads across the network. A late ship can miss its next port window. A missed port window can delay another shipment. That delayed shipment can affect a factory, a retailer, or a construction project. This is why congestion is so dangerous. It does not stay in one place. Research and industry analysis describe how adding more vessels into overburdened port systems can increase waiting time when port handling capacity is fixed. So the sea becomes a waiting room, and the port becomes the bottleneck. But there is an even deeper reason why the system does not simply add more capacity. Level 6, efficiency makes the system fragile. At the sixth level, the system reveals its biggest contradiction. Global shipping is designed for efficiency. That means ships are bigger, routes are optimized, warehouses carry less extra inventory, companies try to avoid waste. This makes products cheaper, but it also makes the system fragile. When everything is optimized for normal conditions, there is less room for surprise. A storm, a strike, a blocked route, a fuel shock, a port slowdown, or a sudden demand spike can create delays that move through the entire chain. The system is efficient because it removes slack. But slack is what protects a system during stress. A company may save money by holding less inventory. A port may save money by operating near full capacity. A shipping line may save money by tightly scheduling vessels. But when something goes wrong, there is no empty space left. No extra time, no extra containers, no extra trucks, no extra warehouse room. So cargo waits. And when cargo waits, costs rise. Then those costs move forward. Importers pay more, retailers adjust prices, customers eventually feel it in the price of goods. This is the hidden link between a container sitting in a port and a product becoming more expensive in a shop. But the final level is the most revealing one. Because waiting cargo does not only show us a broken system. It shows us who has power inside it. Level 7, the strongest player waits the longest. At the 7th level, the question changes. It is no longer, why is the cargo waiting? It becomes, who can afford to wait? In global trade, not every player has equal power. A large shipping company may survive delays better than a small importer. A major retailer may negotiate better terms than a small business. A big exporter may get priority access to containers while smaller shippers accept higher costs. Waiting becomes a test of financial strength. The player with more cash can absorb delays. The player with less cash feels the pressure immediately. This is why cargo economics can feel unfair. The physical delay may be the same, but the financial pain is not. A container delayed for 5 extra days may be annoying for a multinational company. For a small business, it can destroy profit on an entire shipment. And yet the system often treats both containers as if they are the same. Same port, same clock, same fees. But very different consequences. This is the quiet reality behind waiting cargo. The system does not only move goods. It ranks players by how long they can survive without moving. And once you see that, the whole port starts to look different. Not like a place where cargo stops, but like a place where power is measured in time. And that leads to the final realization. Ending, the real price of waiting. So at first, waiting cargo looks simple. A delayed container, a busy port, a late truck. But step by step, the system becomes larger. The container is not just a box, it is equipment that must keep moving. The port is not just a location, it is a limited space where time becomes money. Paperwork is not just administration, it is permission. Fees are not just penalties, they are signals, incentives, and sometimes pressure. Ships do not just wait because they are late, they wait because ports, routes, and global schedules are connected. And efficiency does not always make the system stronger. Sometimes, it removes the cushion that would have protected everyone. This is the strange economics of waiting cargo. A simple delay can become a chain reaction. A few days at a port can turn into extra costs, broken schedules, higher prices, and pressure on businesses that never caused the delay in the first place. And the most important part is this. Cargo does not wait in an empty system. It waits inside contracts, clocks, fees, risks, and power structures. That is why one container sitting still can quietly reveal how global trade really works. Because behind every delayed shipment, there is a hidden question. Who controls time? And who pays when time runs out?